like to welcome all.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press. I'd like to welcome all of you to this weekly press briefing of the Executive Mansion, the official seat of the Liberian presidency. For this afternoon press briefing, we are going to be looking at a number of different themes, beginning with messages of congratulations from our counterparts. Over the course of the week, we received several congratulatory messages congratulating His Excellency President Joseph Boakai on his elections and the expression of willingness to work from his counterpart. Just to go through a few of those countries, we received congratulatory messages from Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, Ivory Coast, Libya, the United Kingdom, the state of Qatar, and many others. Also, during the course of the week, His Excellency had several different meetings with individuals and people and institutions who have expressed congratulatory messages as well, but more so who have expressed their institution's willingness to work with the government. And I'll just let you know that during the course of the week, the team from the United Nations here in Liberia, as we all know to be one UN, they paid a visit and called on His Excellency and share their own thoughts about how they intend to work with the government. As you know, Liberia has been in connection and partnership with the United Nations through several developmental efforts and initiatives. So that was also a process in which they paid a courtesy visit to express the United Nations continuation of their support to our country. Excellency was also visited by a delegation from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, headed by the ambassador, who came in and spoke a lot about the regional organization commitment to continuing to work with the government, headed by President Boakai. They spoke on a number of different things, including agriculture, education, tourism, and regional stability, particularly in connection to food security. As we know, food from the angle of the ECOWAS is also just beyond food sufficiency, it's also a security commodity. So ECOWAS delegation came and spoke with His Excellency along those lines. We've also seen a delegation from HPS and their partners having a conversation this morning with our president, and they were able to talk a lot about an emerging opportunity for development for our country. That is along the lines of the development of rails, where that investment will be a benefit to our country. Further, we saw that His Excellency this week went and took the tests. As you know, during the course of his annual message, he did talk about his formation of setting up a committee on the issue of alcohol and drugs. And this week, he led his cabinet ministers, particularly the committee members and the vice president, and they did the drug test, and the results were announced. Most of you who were there know that it was a negative result. Additionally, he also, as he promised, during the course of the campaign of his mark of integrity, accountability, he's also gone ahead to declare his assets. Those assets were declared yesterday, and the team from LSCC are reviewing. When there's a need, the media will be also informed on what's happening. Additionally, we saw that the president has continuously talked about the mark of accountability. And this week, he did write a letter requesting the General Auditing Commission to conduct audits of the Central Bank of Liberia, the Executive Protection Agency, and the National Security Agency, those institutions, so that we get to understand. And I can tell you that this is just the beginning of a number of reforms that His Excellency has committed to and will continue to do. This, in terms of accountability, understanding where the government is picking up from, and rest assured there are going to be a lot of other reasons and a lot of other institutions that will be requested to be audited, because for him, integrity, the need for accountability, accounting for public resources is a key priority for the government, and so that he will be able to know what we're dealing with, but more so how we can ensure that the issue of corruption is curbed, but more so to ensure that the workings of the Liberian people is undertaken seriously. So those are the issues that I thought to talk to you today on. And again, as always, needed the update, point of this press briefing is to be able to engage you more, to answer your questions as it relates to the different trending issues in the country and how we can take that. So I will stop here and then request that should you have a question, please go ahead and ask them. Thank you and good afternoon.
Yeah. Yes.
Your name and institution.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'm Sylvester Chilople, and I work for the Spoon Network. Recently, the President declared his asset. The public wants to know exactly whether the President's asset will be published.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Julius, contact from Fortune Television. The last time you briefed us concerning ongoing investigation about the Unarm attack the President at the UNU graduation. Any latest updates? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Press Secretary. My name is Godfrey Badeponza, representing Composto Television. How prepared is the President for the Armed Forces Day celebration?
Good evening. I'm Romeo Tony from Clark TV. Well, we saw HPS here not too long after having a series of discussion with the President. And one of the major concerns in Liberia is railroad. And we understand that an additional meter have been monopoly over the railway. What have been the discussion between government and Arsenal that today we are seeing HPS in Liberia and following the discussion?
Thank you, Madam Presidential Press Secretary. My name is T.O. Williams. There are still more concerns about the current status of the investigation that you said was launched into the funding that was provided for the 73 districts across the country as part of the inaugural celebration. There are still more concerns.
I didn't quite get the last question. You just said that there's still more concerns. I didn't get the specific concern. But I can tell you that, like I said last week, this is exactly something that the chief is interested in, and I'm able to understand, in fact, latest, that the Unity Party team, the chairperson from the county, who were in charge of those resources and disbursement, they've done a report, and the team was set up to review the report, and they'll be giving the findings. Once that is done, I will give you updates of it, but it's something that the chief is as well concerned about, especially on matters of integrity and accountability. On the aspect of HPS and rails, Asio Metal, as you know, has their own operations ongoing. And the conversation this morning is on a different conversation, on a different role, on a brand new reel. It's not going to be the same corridor as Mental. As you listen to the leaders of that conversation, they did tell you today that it's going to be a very different portion. It's going to be a new role. It's not the same role that they're talking about. And this is going to be multi-dimensional, multi-country. So with Guinea, so as with the detail, because these were only preliminary conversation around that, and as the detail emerged, and once the government and the team that have been looking through wants to review all of those agreements and everything that is about this, full information on this agreement will be made public, and you know that for sure that you will be giving the information as we have them. How prepared is the president for the Armed Forces Day? The president is prepared for everything. I mean, being president for the country, and as you know, there will be a proclamation as is for the Armed Forces Day, declaring it as a national holiday, and the president will be there to perform his duties, to review our guards, to look at the army as is supposed to be done. So the president is prepared. He's looking forward to the engagement. He's looking forward to the activities of the Armed Forces Day, celebrating with our armed forces, with our men and women in uniform, our gallant men who have been working. And in fact, prior to the Armed Forces Day, or prior to now, there have been engagement and discussions with the leaders, the Minister of Defense, as well as the other generals within the army, to ensure that all activities connecting to February 11, which will be ultimately celebrated on February 12 because it falls on a Sunday, you will see that I'm sure some of you are happy because it's going to be a long holiday. But yeah, the president is prepared for that. On the issue of the Unarm attack, as I told you last week, the information is seen. Like I said, one of the main things that's happening now is that there has been recommendation for more training of our EPS. There's going to be a full assessment, personal audits of the EPS from our internal team, especially those who are directly assigned with the chief. And you will see that there will be trainings of the people who will be assigned, more training, more education, more knowledge of what, just to ensure that our chief executive is safe. And I can assure the Liberian people that the current team that was selected, particularly the chief security of the EPS, that is our director of EPS, he's on it. He's with his guys. He's on it to ensure that what happened at the UMU graduation will not happen again. But it's a serious security matter, and the team took it really very seriously. So there have been a lot of internal plans to be undertaken. So there are some security details that I will not discuss here with you all, but it's something that as well everyone around the presidency is concerned about. On the issue of whether the president's assets that he declared will be made public, the president is open. Of course, he has said on this time that he will do that. So rest assured, once we get to the point, we'll let you know. You will see the assets. You will see he has nothing to hide. These declarations. And the other thing about it is that this is not a compulsion. It's not compulsory. With the LSCC, for example, they tell you that they are not the ones who even make it public. And it is a confidential process from their end. But for His Excellency, he's open, he's willing, he's going to do that, so that shouldn't be any major problem. Are there any other questions?
Yeah.
So thank you again, Julius. Contact important ones. Two questions quickly. Egyptian Representative Yeke Koruba, during the course of the week, called for the expulsion of the Senate bearer and president of this country from the Unity Party. I'd like to know the response, talking about President Joseph Boakai. And according to him, allegedly, the president is yet to fulfill his promise of making sure that the 15 counties of Liberia has a representation each at the senior government level. And my next question is, will there be new recruitment of EPS officers? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel Vandercoy, and I report for Talent TV. The president, in his annual message, declared drug as a national emergency. And during the course of this week, we saw him along with his vice president and the team that he set up take their drug test. How will they fight against drug going forward?
Thank you. My name is Joseph Daniels, and I report for OKFM. Recently, a member of the Unity Party and also a senator of Capitol Hill, Unarm, released analysis about the president's appointments. And in that analysis, he talked about the president not living up to his promise of giving each county a minister, and also not prioritizing living up to his promise of appointing people from the Muslim religion also in his government. How does the president react to that? And also, you made mention of the renovation work here at the executive mansion. How far has it now gone? Can you please update us on that?
Yes, my name is Moses Akolo, and I report for Globe 7. The president, in his first address to the nation as president, then promised that in his 100 days there will be no car stop, no car wash anymore in his first 100 days in office. Again, since the president took over today is the 9th, people are concerned, their concerns in the public as well. When do we see that is the president still committed to that? And if that it is, when do we see moving equipment, for example, in the southeast, to ensure that in the next 100 days there will be no car stop in water?
My name is Anthony Jefan from ABC Radio. Thank you, Madam Press Secretary. Today, a few minutes ago, we witnessed a conversation or a briefing between the President and HPX. And the concern now is, have you, the government, headed by President Joseph Boakai, been able to find out the reliability of this company as Liberia enters into contract with them? Thank you.
So we'll just take all the remaining questions, we'll just address them. If there are any, then this will be the last step. Are there?
Yeah, we'll take the last question.
Okay, Madam PBS, my name is Yungwiri Masale and I work for Sky Communication. You talk about the president asking the LAC to audit central bank, NSA, GAC, to audit central bank, NSA. But why the president did not ask GAC to audit the Ministry of Finance?
So yeah, that's one question. Yes. Thank you. This is Sylvester Chirople, once more from Spoon Network. My question is based on the concern from the public. It is about the 40 million and that of the 20.5 million between the current government and the past government. Has this government been able to conclude as to what is the exact figure that the government has now in terms of the 40 million and that the 20.5 million?
Thank you. And I will start with the last question. Like the president reported, that's what the government is. In fact, that is one of the reasons why, because with all these things back and forth, is that the CPO, the audit that the president has requested the GAC to conduct will be done to be able to ascertain what went wrong or what the issues are. But that is why we're very concerned about this. On the issue of why the Ministry of Finance wasn't one of the agencies requested by His Excellency to be audited, like I said, there will be a lot of different reforms, processes, there will be other audits coming up, and there is a higher need, and most of our people are requesting to even start with the process of personal audit, because there is a huge number in almost across agencies of government on the number of people who were employed, people who were just there, people who, the bloating of the payroll is really very high, and His Excellency is very concerned about that. So you will see in the coming weeks requests for additional audits and additional information will be filled today. So we want to be able to ensure that the GAC, as they've been requested to undertake this audit within a period of 3 months, so that we can have them overly loaded and then we get mixed up in the process. So yeah, the Chief Executive is concerned about all the different sectors in our country. On the issue of the reliability of HPX, so the way contract works, or the way agreement or partnership agreement works, it is not just because a company comes and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I want to do so-and-so, then you say, okay, yes, come, let's do the so-and-so, and go ahead. So there's a whole process, there's a team that is going to be working out the modalities, feasibility studies done, as you know, as they've explained, that HPS operation is not only going to be in Liberia, it's already, they already have operations in Guinea, and what our portion of part they want us to do or to be involved with is the issue of the railroad that they're going to use for the iron ore that they'll be exporting through our, corridor. So yes, there's a whole team, as you know, the Ministry of Finance is involved. You saw the Minister of Public Works here. You saw other ministers here. You saw Minister of State. You saw other people from outside, as well as the other people. You also saw our legal advisors. So every contract, you have the legal implications, the political implications, the due diligence. I can tell you for free that the process of due diligence will be taken very seriously. And the team is working on the modalities. And once all of the different things is set up, and as you know, any investment of certain benchmark has to go through our legislature. So there's also the legislative component that will get to that point. So it's not just a one-day thing that will happen immediately, but it's something that it has to have the whole process of due diligence. Once the team from the executive looks at her part, once it gets to the legislature will do their bid, comes back, and then there will be a full, the need for asking those critical questions will definitely be seen. So your question on the 100-day deliverable, whether the president is still committed to that of no car getting stuck in the mud. Somebody talk about the number of days. How many days are we now? Do we have any report of cars being stuck in the mud? No, but I can say that the president is still, the 100-day aspiration is still there, very high. We are committed to that. He is committed to his commitment, and he's doing everything. You saw the Minister of Public Works designate here, and he's been briefing His Excellency on the plans, on what needs to happen. So once his team is confirmed by the Senate, you all will see the the speed at which those commitments actualization will be met. Renovation of the mansion, like I've said last week, even your presence, if you look around, you see there's still active renovation work ongoing. The contractor that had this contract given by the previous government is such a long and Herculean challenge. There are many places that still works ongoing. If you go here on the second floor, like I said last week, but we have not gotten the security clearance yet. I'm still hoping that once we get the clearance, you all will be allowed the areas that will be marked that you can visit, so you can tell the public, because there is misinformation that the mansion is 100%. It said it was renovated, everything was good, but if you go now, you go to places, go to some offices, that's not the case. You see some areas that's not the case. So once we get the security clearance, and if everyone is okay with it, you all will be allowed to do a tour that's allowed, and you will see for yourself what we've told you. On the issue of the presidential appointment, again, the president has the power to appoint who he wills, and the people he has appointed over the course of these appointments are some of Liberia's best minds. And he's also still committed. And the appointment is not just one, and you cannot formulate a government in just 1 week. That is thing I say, hurry, post-trasa. So that the president is doing the appointment, and we're supposed to appoint over 3,000 plus people or so, and that is happening. And these will be people who are Liberians from all walks of life, and they will be placed in the government as the president wishes to put them in. On the issue of drugs, how will the fight be? Again, it's not going to be a one-time thing. It's a holistic approach to the issue of drugs and alcohol addiction, especially by our young people. That's why you've seen the appointment of a robust individual as director of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, someone who's a career police officer, someone who understands the sector. And the team that was set up by His Excellency as the committee members for this fight encompasses people who are from, for example, the Ministry of Health is involved, Ministry of Youth and Sports, because the majority of the users now are young people. You have Ministry of Finance to look for the resources. You have Ministry of Gender, the aspect that have to do with women and men young people who are in those areas, and gender also deals with social protection. You have Ministry of Justice, because when you seize people, things, and I'm sure there will be other people in the sector who may not necessarily be on the committee, like our international partners, other different individuals, even with people who are coming in, because, like I said, we do not produce drugs in Liberia. So for the most part, they come from different places. So our border security. And besides, so there's a multi-dimensional approach. So it's the prevention, it's the cure part. So all of those processes will be taken seriously by the committee members. The issue of the borders, for example, if we have border countries in our country where these drugs are coming from, the government is going to be robust in ensuring that substances do not go through. So it's a holistic approach. And on the aspect that has to do with the cure, a lot of young people who are currently addicted, there's a whole conversation on how to ensure that the people who are currently on drugs, hooked on drugs, those young people, the process in which they can be rehabilitated, the committee will take all of those seriously. So that is why he appointed the committee of experts who will tell us the know-how. New recruitment of the EPS. I can tell you that there's going to be new recruitment or there won't be new recruitment, I can tell you again, this audit that the president has requested GAC, it will include all segment of the EPS. And even as we speak, the director has expressed concern over the number of personnel and even those who are, some of them do not have the requisite training to qualify for, an EPS officer. So training, the personnel audit, and all these different things is something that the new director is concerned about, and he's going to work on it here in his team. On the issue of expulsion by the Unity Party and comments from Honorable Kolova, we will not be in the business of replying to comments, of people's opinion or what they think they want to do, especially if those comments do not impact the work of His Excellency. Those comments, people have right to their opinions. People have right, and like we've always said, you should be able to respect the presidency, whether you don't have to like the individual who occupied the position of the presidency, but by virtue of fact that he carries the emblem of the country, he represents the country, that respectability must be given to the presidency. So, we wouldn't be responding whether or not those comments, we're not in the business of doing that. I said, everyone have right to their opinion, but again, we all have to be in the business of respecting our chief executive officer. You can disagree with him, you can disagree with his policies, but the respectability of the office is what we all should push for as Liberians. And as you've said always, we need to get to a point of mindset change. Things that we do in the past, let's try to do them better, just be a better individual. And this is not to say people who make comment, they're not good individuals, but I'm just saying let's give some respect, to the senior citizen and our president, But again, thank you all for this opportunity to always engage with you. I look forward to taking additional questions during the next course of our interview. And please feel free, as you know, the door is always open. Send us email, send us your comments, send us your suggestions, and let's go ahead to continue doing this. Hopefully by next time, once we work out all the modalities, we want to try to see if we can get a sign language interpreter to be able to join us, to this, because there are people, in our country who are differently able than us, and they need to be able to be a part of this. And I'm hoping to also see people from community radio stations who can connect to these mediums. I'm hoping to also engage with LBS to see how we can get our vernacular interpreters, so that this information can be given. So our people will know what's happening, what the government is thinking, what His Excellency is doing for the country. And let's get to work. So thank you, and let's continue our work.
Madam Kula Fofana is the Secretary General, the Press Secretary at the Office of the Excellency President Joseph Unarm Boakai, giving weekly press briefing. So thanks so very kindly, and Sylvester Chocolate.